All right, so our next module is tribal religions. Again, this module is set up in a similar way to the previous one, although now we are working on our first major set of religions. Tribal religions learning resources page. On this page, we see our course intended outcomes and objectives. Here is your tribal religions workbook. Again, you want to download this. Required readings. Okay, so you do need to have your textbook at this point because there is material on Native American religions and the chapter on Africa, which will be used for you to complete your workbook and are going to include information that is not in lecture. Required video. This is a required video. It's about the Gagaju tribe of Australia. There are questions in the workbook on this tribe. You also have down here a myth of creation for the Cherokee and a creation story from the Yoruba. There are recommended readings. These are just recommended. They are in no way, shape, or form required. If you want to listen to previous course lectures, some other playlists with some videos on tribes and indigenous religions. There's also a few other websites that include stories and myths of creation. Some older PowerPoints, and experience possibilities. Okay, so what I want to introduce you to real quick is that there is a discussion called experiences. So if you are visiting a place of worship, spirituality, or that is considered sacred and is outside your tradition, are you visiting a museum? Are you having an in-depth, at least 45-minute conversation with somebody? If you're doing any of these things, then you can add your experience and get extra points. Okay, so coming back here, a few examples of places you can go. There is a powwow calendar. It does list powwows and events. The Weeden Island Preserve, Tampa Bay History Center, St. Pete Museum of Fine Art, and as I mentioned in a discussion, one of the first ones with what is the sacred, or what is something considered sacred. You can also go to Philippi Park in Safety Harbor and visit the mound there. All right, so going on with our tribal religion module, once you go through that first page, we have the to-do list, which reminds us to go to the learning resource page, download the workbook. All right, here are the three discussions. One's going to deal with creation stories, one is going to do with rituals and practices, and then one is going to do with colonialism, history, and Chief Seattle. And that one's going to specifically deal with either the Maji revolt, which you read about in your textbook, or the ghost dance, which you read about in your textbook. So especially for this last one, you will want to have your textbook with you. All right, moving forward, going into the discussions real quick, let's take a look here. This one is going to tell you to summarize a story about creation of the world. You can use anything from an African tribe, a Native American tribe. You can even use the Gagaju. Your response post, which remember, three posts, generally ensures, as long as they meet the requirements, that you will get full credit. So respond to a classmate's creation story with your thoughts on the story. Just discuss the story. What do you think of it? Is it weird? Is it strange? Is it interesting? Why? Share why you agree or disagree with your classmate's assessment of the creation story, and continue the discussion. Okay. Oh, we got a little bonus here real quick. Any response post you get in before May 23rd, you'll get an additional 2 points. That's kind of awesome. The reason for that is to get you to start doing your posts early. All right, the next one, rituals and practices. Provide a detailed summary of one rite, holy day, or worship practice of a tribal religion. So it's not even restricted to Africa and Native America and Australia. You can choose any holy day, rite, worship practice. Again, we want to make sure that your summary includes the name of the tribe, when the practice takes place, and at least one additional fact. Your response post can be 2 additional facts about the tribe. So again, your initial post, you need to make sure you tell me what is the tribe you are sharing. And then based on the summary and information, how would you assess it using religious orientations or other terms and categories to define religion? Our third, yes, there are 3 discussions. Third one, as I mentioned, you will want to have read the textbook because I'm going to ask you here to provide a short summary of either the Maji Maji Revolt or the Ghost Dance, and also from the workbook, what is your reaction to the letter of Chief Seattle? And then here are your options for your response posts. Moving forward, we have the workbook that you will be submitting. It is due May 26th by 11:59 p.m. Technically, the assignment will no longer be available after 11:59. Oh, that should say a.m. Ooh, I'm going to update it because it will be 11:59 a.m. on the 27th. All right, you have the rubric there, and then moving forward. So project portion, tribal religions. Now, I already went a little bit into this as an example. For instance, if your topic was sacred numbers, how you would go about researching it. You want to make sure you use your project form. So I do want to go over this form now that we are at tribal religions. And it will ideally load in a moment. All right. Cancel. There it goes. All right. So to get full credit, you need to enter your name. You need to enter your date that you are completing this. I want to be reminded of what your overall topic is, and then I want you to give a title to this paper. So if I was doing sacred numbers, I might look at important and sacred numbers to the Cherokee, or important sacred numbers in the Yoruba tradition, whichever group. All right, bibliography citation number 1. Please use APA or Chicago style. I'm not sure what APA or Chicago style is. First off, HCC has some great resources. I've included some of those resources in that orientation, but essentially you can go to the library, you can ask a librarian, you can get assistance through the Academic Success Center. You can also go online and look up how to do an APA or Chicago style citation. Now, this is a bibliography citation. I want more than the URL, so please give me all the information. It says, what is a word-for-word quote? That means a direct quote, not your opinion, not your thoughts, not you rewriting what is on the page. I want word for word. Copy, paste it. Pretty easy. And you're going to do this for 3 sources. Your first source. Your second source. Basically, 2 sources should be academic in nature. You've read this already. We've talked about this already. Keep it in mind. Your third source, if you want to use something that is neither academic nor from the religion itself, you are welcome to use. Wikipedia is acceptable. Learn Religions is not. Britannica is not. There's a whole list of sites that are not. I do allow Wikipedia because it is a source website. All right, your summary and reflection has 3 parts. What are 3 things you learned about your topic from your resources? Please don't just restate what you put in there. I want to know that you didn't just go to a website and randomly copy and paste something, not actually reading it. Tell me what you learned. Just 3 things. Pretty easy. You could even do it 1, 2, 3. 1 thing you learned from each resource. Or all 3 can come from 1 resource. Doesn't matter. Just 3 facts. Number 2, what did you find most interesting and why? So this might be expanding upon one of those 3 things you learned, or it could be something different. But I want an emphasis. Why did you find it interesting? All right, part 3. How has researching your topic in relation to this religion impacted your thoughts or feelings? So these are I statements. I thought this was really interesting about my topic because I never realized that these tribal groups had an interest in numerology or in sacred numbers. Or I thought this was really interesting because the number 9 is also sacred to me in my tradition. These are I statements. All right. So once you have completed that, guess what happens? Dun, 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 dun. We're on to the next module. So this is your intro. to go over the tribal religions module. I think you got it. All right, I'll be back shortly with going over the workbook.